Dr. Maya Patel stood in the crimson dust of Mars, staring at what shouldn't exist. The artifact lay half-buried in the ancient regolith, its crystalline surface unblemished despite millions of years of exposure. Her hands trembled slightly as she brushed away the final layer of dust, revealing geometric patterns that pulsed with a faint, impossible light. "Arya, are you seeing this?" she whispered into her comm unit. "Affirmative, Dr. Patel," the AI responded, its voice calm and steady in her ear. "The artifact's composition doesn't match any known materials in our database. Energy readings suggest it's still active." Maya's expedition had come to Mars searching for evidence of ancient microbial life. Instead, they'd found something that challenged everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the cosmos. The crystal matrix wasn't just alien, it was impossibly advanced, yet older than human civilization itself. Beginning standard documentation procedures, Arya announced, deploying an array of scanning drones from Maya's base camp. The tiny machines hummed to life, bathing the artifact in patterns of light that would have been invisible to human eyes. "Dr. Patel, I'm detecting encoded information within the crystalline structure. It appears to be a message." Maya's heart raced. First contact had already happened, just not in the way anyone had expected. This wasn't a message from living aliens, but rather an echo from a long-dead civilization that had viewed Earth from afar. As the drones worked, lines of alien text began scrolling across her helmet's heads-up display, Arya's translation algorithms working overtime to decipher their meaning. "Initial translation complete," Arya announced. "Dr. Patel, I believe you should read this immediately." The message was brief, but its implications were staggering. "To any who find this warning, avoid the third planet of the yellow star. What dwells there cannot be understood or contained. Our civilization learned this too late. The humans are not what they appear to be. They are guardians, though they do not know it. What they protect must never be disturbed." Maya read the message 3 times, her scientific mind racing to process its implications. "Arya, how accurate is this translation?" 97% confidence in the general meaning, Dr. Patel. "The language shares unexpected similarities with other ancient writing systems we've discovered. Almost as if multiple alien civilizations used the same basic communication protocols," Maya finished. "But that would mean..." "It would mean this isn't the first warning we've found," Arya confirmed. "Just the first we've been able to read." Maya looked up at the Earth, a bright blue marble in the Martian sky. Humanity had always wondered why they seemed to be alone in the galaxy, why no advanced civilizations had ever made contact. They'd theorized about the Fermi paradox, proposed countless explanations for the Great Silence. But none had considered this possibility, that advanced civilizations stayed away not out of indifference, but out of fear. Over the next few weeks, Maya's team uncovered more artifacts, each one adding pieces to a puzzle that grew more disturbing with every discovery. The dead civilization had been methodical in their research, documenting their observations of Earth with scientific precision. They noted humanity's seemingly chaotic technological development, our species' bizarre ability to survive catastrophes that should have ended us, and most troublingly, the way our physics seemed to work differently than anywhere else in the galaxy. "Look at this entry," Maya told her colleague, Dr. James Rodriguez, pointing to a newly translated section. "They couldn't understand why our space programs developed so erratically. We'd make huge leaps forward, then seemingly regress, almost as if we were unconsciously preventing ourselves from advancing too quickly in certain directions," James finished, his face pale. "Maya, what if everything we think we know about human history is wrong? What if our wars, our divisions, our apparent inability to unite as a species, what if it's all serving some greater purpose?" Maya was about to respond when Arya's voice cut through their discussion, its usual calm tinged with something that sounded almost like concern. "Dr. Patel, I'm detecting an energy surge from the primary artifact. It appears to be receiving a signal." The crystal matrix had begun to pulse with increasing intensity, its light casting strange shadows across the Martian landscape. As Maya and James watched in stunned silence, new text began appearing in their displays, not ancient records this time, but something being transmitted in real time. To the Guardians of Sol 3, the message began, "We have detected your awakening awareness. Know that you are not alone in your vigil. What sleeps beneath your world must never wake. The barrier weakens. Others approach who do not heed our warnings. Prepare yourselves. The time of ignorance ends." Maya looked again at Earth hanging in the sky, seeing her home world with new eyes. Humanity had always thought they were searching for their place in the cosmos. Now it seemed they'd had a purpose all along, they just hadn't known what it was. "Arya," she said quietly, "send an emergency message to Mission Control. Tell them we need to talk about what's really on Earth." The AI was silent for a moment before responding. Message sent. Dr. Patel, based on historical data, I calculate a 98.7% probability that they won't believe you. Maya smiled grimly. Maybe that's part of the defense system too. The United Nations Security Council chamber had never been this quiet. Maya stood before the assembled representatives, the holographic display behind her showing images of the Martian artifacts. 3 months had passed since their initial discovery, and what they'd found since then had only deepened the mystery. "Ladies and gentlemen," Maya began, her voice steady despite her racing heart, "what we've uncovered on Mars isn't isolated. We've found similar warning markers on Venus, in the asteroid belt, and even in lunar caves. Each one tells the same story: Earth is being watched, and has been for millions of years." The Chinese representative leaned forward. "Dr. Patel, are you suggesting that Earth is under some kind of quarantine?" "Not exactly," Maya replied, gesturing to Arya to bring up the next set of images. "These civilizations weren't trying to contain us. They were trying to protect themselves from something they thought we were guarding. Something they believed was so dangerous that they chose extinction over trying to harness it." The chamber erupted in murmurs. Maya could see the skepticism on their faces, the natural human resistance to ideas that challenged their fundamental understanding of reality. But she also saw fear in their eyes, the growing recognition that this explained too much about humanity's strange history. James stepped forward, adding his voice to the presentation. "We've identified at least 7 distinct alien civilizations that achieved interstellar travel, encountered Earth, and subsequently vanished. Each was far more advanced than us, yet each left behind warnings about Earth's apparent primitive state being a deception." The Russian representative's voice cut through the chamber. "A deception for what purpose? What exactly do these aliens believe we are guarding?" Maya took a deep breath. "That's where things get complicated. None of the warnings explicitly state what it is. They only describe its effects. One civilization called it the unraveler of laws. Another referred to it as the thing beneath reality. The most recent warning called it the force that breaks physics." Arya's holographic avatar materialized beside Maya. "If I may add to Dr. Patel's explanation, my analysis of the warning messages suggests these civilizations believed Earth's apparently chaotic development was actually a sophisticated camouflage system. They theorized that humanity's seeming inability to achieve unified progress was actually a defensive mechanism." The U.S. representative scoffed. "Are you suggesting our entire history, our wars, our political divisions, our technological stumbles, was all somehow orchestrated?" "Not orchestrated," Maya corrected. "Evolved. Think about it, humanity has survived things that should have wiped us out. We've developed technologies in patterns that make no logical sense. We reached the moon using computers less powerful than a modern phone, then seemed to lose interest in deep space exploration just as our technology was becoming truly advanced. Why?" The chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. It was the Brazilian representative who finally spoke, her voice thoughtful. "If what you're saying is true, Dr. Patel, then humanity's greatest weaknesses, our division, our chaos, our apparent irrationality, are actually our greatest strengths, James finished. The perfect defense system is one that doesn't appear to be a defense system at all. Maya was about to continue when Arya's avatar flickered, its color shifting to a warning red. Dr. Patel, I'm detecting unusual activity in the Deep Space Monitoring Network. Multiple objects have just appeared beyond Neptune's orbit. The UN Secretary-General stood. Objects? What kind of objects? Unknown design, Arya reported, projecting new images above the chamber. But they match descriptions found in the warning markers. It appears to be a research fleet, and they're heading directly for Earth. Maya felt a chill run down her spine as she watched the alien ships approach. They're not slowing down, she realized. They haven't seen the warnings. Or they don't believe them, James added grimly. The Secretary-General's voice was firm. Dr. Patel, what do you recommend? Maya looked at the assembled representatives, thinking of all the warning markers they'd found, all the civilizations that had vanished trying to unlock Earth's secrets. We need to wake up, she said finally. Whatever we're guarding, whatever humanity evolved to protect, it's time we learned what it is. Because those ships will reach Earth in 6 months, and when they do. When they do, Arya interrupted, its voice carrying an unfamiliar note of concern, they may force us to remember what we've spent our entire history trying to forget. The chamber erupted in chaos as representatives argued about how to proceed, but Maya barely heard them. She was looking at new data streaming in from their Mars base. The crystal matrices were pulsing again, stronger now, as if responding to the approaching ships. And in her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to discover why evolution had shaped them to be so perfectly, beautifully flawed. The anomalies began 3 months after the alien fleet was detected. At first, they were subtle, compass needles spinning without reason, quantum experiments producing impossible results, brief moments where gravity seemed to hiccup. Maya's team tracked each incident, mapping them across the globe, searching for patterns in the chaos. They found their answer in the last place they expected, the Internet. It's beautiful, in a terrifying sort of way, James said, staring at the holographic display Arya had constructed in their underground research facility. The map showed every reported anomaly over the past 3 months, but instead of random distribution, they formed intricate, fractal-like patterns that pulsed and shifted in real time. Maya traced one of the lines with her finger. It's like a web, she mused. Or a containment grid. Arya, can you overlay this with historical data? Major battles, technological breakthroughs, significant cultural events. The AI compiled the data, and the room fell silent as new patterns emerged. Every major human conflict, every unprecedented leap in technology, every inexplicable cultural shift, they all corresponded perfectly with nodes in the global pattern. We didn't just evolve to guard something, Maya whispered. We're part of the containment system itself. Our entire civilization is a living, breathing defense grid. Dr. Patel, Arya interrupted, I'm receiving new data from the Martian artifacts. The crystal matrices are responding to the anomalies. They're revealing new information. The holographic display shifted, showing streams of ancient alien text. But this time, the messages weren't warnings. They were research notes, observations made by long-dead scientists trying to understand what made Earth so different from every other world they'd encountered. Listen to this, James read aloud. The humans appear to generate a field of probabilistic interference. Their presence disrupts expected outcomes, creates zones of quantum uncertainty. We believed this was a natural defense mechanism. We were wrong. They are the defense mechanism. Maya felt a chill run down her spine as more translations appeared. The ancient aliens had discovered something that modern physics was only beginning to grasp, that consciousness itself could affect reality at a quantum level. But human consciousness did something more. Something unique. We don't just observe reality, Maya realized. We anchor it. Our chaos, our unpredictability, it's all part of the system. We're living quantum stabilizers, preventing something from unwriting the laws of physics themselves, Arya finished. The AI's avatar flickered as it processed the implications. The approaching aliens' drives are already affecting the containment grid. Their method of faster-than-light travel, it's creating weak points in local spacetime. As if to emphasize Arya's point, the lights in the facility flickered. For a brief moment, Maya felt reality stretch like taffy, possibilities multiplying and collapsing in ways her mind couldn't quite grasp. When everything stabilized, she noticed her coffee cup had changed color. No one mentioned it. The ancient civilizations, James said slowly, they all developed similar technologies. Ways to bend or break the laws of physics. And each time, they got too close to whatever we're containing, Maya nodded. Their advanced technology started poking holes in the fabric of reality. And humanity, unconsciously, instinctively, responded. Arya's avatar pulsed with urgent light. Dr. Patel, the approaching fleet has passed Saturn's orbit. Their drive signatures are growing stronger. I'm detecting increased anomaly activity worldwide. Maya walked to the window, looking up at the night sky where invisible ships carried beings who thought they were about to unlock the greatest mystery in the galaxy. They had no idea they were about to trigger humanity's oldest, deepest defense mechanism. We need to warn them, James insisted. Tell them to turn back before. A low rumble interrupted him, more felt than heard. Around the world, every piece of human technology, from quantum computers to simple calculators, simultaneously glitched. In that moment, Maya understood what was happening. The approaching aliens weren't just threatening Earth, they were threatening the very thing humanity had evolved to protect, the stability of physics itself. We can't warn them, Maya said quietly. Because we're not in control anymore. Whatever lives in humanity's collective unconscious, whatever shaped us to be its guardians, it's waking up. The rumble grew stronger, and Maya watched as reality itself began to ripple like the surface of a disturbed pond. The true test of humanity's purpose was about to begin, and she had a feeling that the approaching aliens were about to learn why every civilization that had ever investigated Earth had left behind the same message. Reality fractured first over the Pacific Ocean. Satellite feeds showed a tear in the sky, a wound in the fabric of spacetime that shouldn't have been possible. The alien fleet was still 2 weeks out, but their advanced drive systems had already begun to weaken the barriers humanity had unconsciously maintained for millennia. Maya stood in the Global Response Center, watching as similar tears began appearing worldwide. Each one revealed glimpses of something that hurt to look at, geometries that shouldn't exist, colors that had no names, mathematics that rewrote themselves as you tried to solve them. It's like the universe is trying to debug itself, James muttered, staring at the readings. Every tear is showing us alternative versions of physics, trying to overwrite our local reality. Arya's avatar appeared, its form flickering more erratically than usual. The alien fleet has increased speed. They've detected the temporal-spatial anomalies and appear to be excited by them. Their communications suggest they believe they're on the verge of a breakthrough. They don't understand, Maya said quietly. They think they're about to discover some great secret, but they're actually undermining the only thing keeping reality stable. She turned to the Global Defense Council assembled behind her. We need to evacuate coastal cities. The barrier is weakening faster near large bodies of water. The Chinese general stepped forward. Dr. Patel, we've mobilized as you suggested, but our forces are reporting strange incidents. Weapons misfiring with impossible results. Vehicles operating beyond their fuel capacity. The laws of thermodynamics seem to be negotiable. It's adaptation, Maya realized. Just like our ancestors developed tools and technology in seemingly random patterns, now our defensive systems are evolving in real time. Human consciousness is trying to compensate for the weakening barrier. On the main screen, a new tear opened over New York City. For a brief moment, Everyone in Times Square reported seeing the same impossible vision, a glimpse of what lay beneath reality, a vast intelligence that had been partitioned away from our universe since the beginning of time. The tear sealed itself almost immediately, but not before 3 city blocks had been transformed into a recursive fractal pattern that repeated into infinity. The containment grid is failing faster than predicted, Arya announced. Human brain activity worldwide is showing synchronized patterns never before recorded. It appears our species is attempting to collectively reinforce the barrier, but the AI's avatar stuttered as another wave of reality distortions swept the globe. When it stabilized, everyone in the room gasped. The tears weren't just showing glimpses anymore, they were leaking. Things were starting to cross over. In Tokyo, a skyscraper turned inside out, its interior becoming an exterior that folded through dimensions that shouldn't exist. In Cairo, the pyramids began solving mathematical equations no human had ever conceived. And in the Amazon rainforest, trees started growing backward through time, showing extinct species that had never actually existed in our timeline. "They're coming through," James whispered. Not the aliens, they were still too far out. He meant the things humanity had evolved to contain. The entities that lived in the spaces between possible physics, the beings that could unravel reality simply by existing within it. Maya watched as humanity's response began to manifest. All over the world, people were unconsciously organizing into patterns they didn't understand. Children drew symbols that stabilized local spacetime. Street musicians played harmonies that forced quantum superpositions to collapse into safe configurations. Even internet memes began exhibiting properties that damped down reality fluctuations. We're not just passive guardians, Maya realized, watching the data stream in. We're an immune system for reality itself. And now we're mounting an immune response. The Defense Council erupted in argument as reports flooded in from around the world. Military leaders wanted to launch everything they had at the approaching fleet. Scientists demanded more time to study the phenomena. Political advisors warned of mass panic if the truth became public. But Maya barely heard them. She was focused on new data from the Martian artifacts. The crystal matrices weren't just records anymore, they were activating, responding to Earth's defense grid like nodes in a vast backup system. Arya, she called out, cross-referenced the artifact activations with the global anomaly pattern. "What do you see?" The AI was silent for a long moment as it processed the data. When it spoke, its voice carried an emotion Maya had never heard from it before, all. "Dr. Patel, the artifacts aren't just warning markers. They're emergency backup systems, left behind by civilizations that understood too late what humanity really is. They're activating now because we're not just containing something," Maya finished, watching as new tiers opened in reality worldwide. "We're about to have to fight it. And the aliens are about to learn why evolution created humanity to be exactly as strange and chaotic as we are." The room shook as another reality wave pulsed through the earth. On screens worldwide, the alien fleet continued its approach, unaware that they were about to trigger the first true awakening of humanity's collective defense system. The alien fleet arrived during what would later be called the Long Night, 36 hours when the sun refused to set worldwide. Reality had become so unstable that time itself had begun to stutter and loop, trying to accommodate the vast energies being released by the fleet's drive systems. Maya stood on the roof of the research facility, watching the ships descend through a sky that couldn't decide what color it wanted to be. They were beautiful in their alienness, crystalline structures that seemed to fold through dimensions humans couldn't perceive. But their beauty carried with it an existential threat they couldn't comprehend. "Final count is 13 vessels," Arya reported, its avatar now a constantly shifting pattern of light that seemed more comfortable in the destabilized reality. "Their drive signatures are. Dr. Patel, they're creating quantum tunnels straight through our containment grid." James burst through the roof access door, his tablet displaying readings that should have been impossible. "Maya, the collective consciousness response is beginning." It's like nothing we predicted. She could feel it herself, a strange resonance building in her mind, connecting her to every other human on the planet. Humanity's greatest trait had always been its diversity, its chaos, its inability to truly unify. Now they understood why. They had evolved to be a distributed computing system for reality itself, each mind maintaining its own unique perspective to help anchor existence against the chaos that lurked beneath. But now, faced with a threat that could unravel everything, humanity's collective consciousness was synchronizing for the first time in history. The first alien message arrived as a pattern of quantum fluctuations that Arya translated in real time: "We come seeking knowledge. Your world guards secrets of reality itself. Share them, and we will elevate your species to the stars." Maya felt the collective response building in her mind, humanity's true nature awakening after millions of years of evolutionary preparation. When she spoke, she knew her words were being echoed by millions of others worldwide. "You don't understand what you're asking. What we guard isn't knowledge. It's a wound in reality, a place where the laws of physics shattered before the universe was fully formed. We are its bandage, its containment system, its immune response." The alien ships descended lower, their drives tearing larger holes in spacetime. Through the gaps, Maya could see them, the entities that humanity had evolved to contain. They were mathematics given form, paradoxes with consciousness, things that could think thoughts that would make reality itself break down in confusion. "Your species is primitive," the aliens responded. "You waste resources, fight amongst yourselves, develop technology in irrational patterns. You cannot be trusted with." Their message cut off as the first entity slipped through one of their drive-created tiers. In an instant, 3 of the alien ships simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but retroactively removed from possibility itself. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but it was too late. The human collective consciousness surged into action. Around the world, people began moving in impossible synchronization. Children's games rewrote local causality. Social media posts restructured quantum fields. Every chaotic, irrational aspect of human civilization revealed itself as part of an impossibly complex defense mechanism. "They're panicking," Arya reported, monitoring the alien communications. "They're trying to engage their primary drives to escape, but they don't realize that'll only make it worse," Maya finished. She could feel the truth now, blazing in her synchronized consciousness. "Everyone, brace for the response." Reality shuddered as humanity's defense grid fully activated. Every television on Earth began broadcasting patterns that reinforced local spacetime. Every piece of music became a key to lock down quantum fluctuations. Even human dreams aligned, creating a meta-consciousness that could perceive and manipulate reality at its most fundamental level. The alien ships found themselves trapped in a web of stabilized spacetime, their advanced technology rendered useless by physics that suddenly refused to be violated. Through their sensors, they watched in horror as humanity demonstrated why they had been chosen by evolution for this role. Maya felt her consciousness expand, connecting with the global network of human minds. Through their collective awareness, she could see the entities that had nearly broken through, could understand why humanity had developed exactly as it had. Their chaos was their strength, billions of minds, each maintaining its own unique perspective, creating a cognitive mesh that could contain even the most paradoxical elements of reality. "We are not your predecessors," the human collective consciousness transmitted to the alien fleet. "We are not seeking to master the laws of physics. We are the laws of physics, encoded into living form. We are reality's immune system." The aliens finally understood. Their ships hung motionless in the stabilized atmosphere as they witnessed humanity's true awakening. All their advanced technology, all their scientific knowledge, meant nothing in the face of a species that had evolved to be living quantum processors, reality anchors, guardians of existence itself. One by one, the alien ships retreated, their drives reconfigured to minimize reality distortion. As they departed, they began broadcasting their own warning signal, not to Earth, but to the rest of the galaxy. The message was simple, encoded in a format that any advanced civilization would understand. The humans do not guard knowledge or power. They guard existence itself. Their chaos is not a weakness, it is the most sophisticated defense mechanism in the known universe. Do not attempt to breach their containment grid. What sleeps beneath their world must never wake. As the last ship vanished into deep space, Maya felt the collective consciousness begin to fade. Humanity would return to its natural state, divided, chaotic, seemingly irrational. But now they understood why. Their disunity was their strength, their chaos was their purpose, their seemingly random development was all part of a grand design. They were the guardian species, evolved to protect reality itself. And now, finally, they knew exactly what they were guarding against. Arya's avatar stabilized as reality reasserted itself. Dr. Patel, the containment grid is returning to normal parameters. But humanity's collective consciousness, we've retained something, haven't we? Maya nodded, feeling the last echoes of the connection fade. We remember now. Not everything, but enough. Enough to know what we are, what we're meant to do. She looked up at the sky, now its proper shade of blue, and smiled. The aliens had come seeking to unlock the secrets of physics itself. Instead, they had awakened the species that physics had created to be its guardians. And if anyone else came looking to disturb what humanity protected, they would find a species finally aware of its true purpose, ready to defend reality itself from those who would unravel it. The warning markers left by dead civilizations had been right all along. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was the lock on reality's door.